We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Iran steps up attacks on Americans. Inflation rises. Hunter held in contempt, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Iran's Navy seized an oil tanker on Thursday in the Gulf of Oman that once was at the center of a major crisis between Tehran and Washington, according to officials, a seizure that further escalates tensions in the Middle East. The vessel was once known as the Suez Rajan and had been involved in a year-long dispute that ultimately saw the U.S. Justice Department seize 1 million barrels of Iranian crude oil on it. The seizure also comes after weeks of attacks by Yemen's Iranian-backed Houthi rebels on shipping in the Red Sea, including their largest barrage ever of drones and missiles launched late Tuesday. That has raised the risk of possible retaliatory strikes by the U.S.-led forces now patrolling the vital waterway, especially after a United Nations Security Council vote on Wednesday condemning the Houthis, and as American and British officials warned of potential consequences over the attacks. Prices that consumers pay for a variety of goods and services rose more than expected in December, according to a Labor Department measure on Thursday that shows inflation still holding a grip on the U.S. economy. The Consumer Price Index increased 0.3% for the month, higher than the 0.2% estimated at a time when most economists and policymakers see inflationary pressures easing. Prices climbed 3.4% from the same time last year, which is higher than both the estimate by economists and the 3.1% gain recorded in November. Energy, food, and shelter, the items that affect the American consumer most, all rose more than expected and accounted for the bulk of the increase. Amazon and Google on Wednesday announced hundreds of layoffs, the latest sign that tech giants are trying to reverse their overexpansion during the COVID pandemic. Amazon, which has cut 27,000 employees since late 2022, is laying off hundreds of workers at its studio division and its subsidiary Twitch. Google said it was cutting hundreds of employees in divisions including Google's Assistant program and hardware and internal software tools. Tech companies laid off tens of thousands of employees last year as consumers continued their return to normal life after the end of the COVID crisis, which had forced them to work, play, shop, and study online, sparking a boom for the tech industry. 2 congressional committees in the House on Wednesday approved a report recommending holding Hunter Biden in contempt for failing to comply with a subpoena for closed-door testimony. Hunter Biden, President Joe Biden's son, made a brief appearance as the committees began to consider the contempt resolution, angering Republicans. "You are the epitome of white privilege," Representative Nancy Mace said, accusing Biden of ignoring the subpoena, then showing up and spitting in our face. Biden and his lawyers left after 10 minutes. Last month, on the day Biden was called to appear, he held a news conference outside the Capitol, offering to testify in public, attempting to avoid the usual legal procedures. The Securities and Exchange Commission on Wednesday approved 11 applications to offer exchange-traded funds tied to Bitcoin. The decision came a day after someone hacked the regulator's account on X and claimed the decision had already been made. The authorization of Bitcoin ETFs marked an important moment for the cryptocurrency industry. The new financial products will give people an easier way to invest in digital assets. Major financial firms, including asset managers BlackRock and Fidelity, were among the firms approved to offer the products, which could start trading as soon as Thursday. SEC Chair Gary Gensler, a critic of crypto market fraud and volatility, stressed that the SEC hadn't endorsed Bitcoin and urged investors to remain cautious. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and wherever you find podcasts. We'll see you next time.